Alright, hey there. So, lesson 67, using prime factorization to reduce fractions. Let's start out with the definition. Definition for reduce. I hope you already know what this word means. We've been saying it and saying it and saying it so many times throughout the year. But, just in case you forgot, or just in case maybe you were a little unclear before, the word reduce, especially when we're talking about math, the word reduce means to make smaller. When you reduce a fraction, you make the numbers as small as possible. For example, 30 over 60, we write as 1/2 because 30/60ths is 1/2. So let's say we have a fraction like 8/12. We can rewrite that fraction as 2/3. One way we could do it is divide the top and bottom both by 4 because that is the greatest common factor between the two. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. What it would look like on a actual visual representation. So I have a box. I split it up into thirds going sideways, and then I cut it 4 more times. So I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 little boxes about that size. And then I colored in 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 little boxes colored in out of 12. 8/12. However, if I ignore those dotted lines, pretend they're not there, then I have 1, 2 out of 3 that are colored in. So I have 2/3. They're the same exact thing, and you know they're the same because they're on the same diagram. They're on the same piece of a whole. Okay, so in lesson 65, we talked about prime numbers, prime factors, and composite numbers. So we're going to use prime factors to reduce fractions. Remember to see lesson 65. You should have done this one on Wednesday. If you're doing lesson 67 before lesson 65, you're not following directions. 65 was Monday, 65 was Wednesday, 67 is Friday. So, if you're doing 67 before 65, stop, turn around, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Go back to lesson 65 now. Alright, so we're going to reduce 125 over 1,000. We're going to start by finding the prime factors of each number. You have 2 options to do this. You can do your factor tree, or you can divide by primes. My favorite is the factor tree, so that's how I'm showing you how to do it. If you prefer to do the dividing by primes, then say 125, it's not even. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8. Nope, I can't divide it by 3. Oh, it ends in 5. So my lowest prime is 5. So I could do 125 divided by 5, and I'm going to come up with a 2. 5 times 5 is 25. So 5 times 25 is my first set. So then I would do 25 divided by, well, it's not even. 7, I cannot divide by 3. So my least prime is 5. And that's 5 times 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 5 times 5 times 5. So I can do it again by division by primes or by using a factor tree. I prefer the factor tree, but that's just me. So either way, however you want to do it, as long as you get 5, 5, and 5 for that 125. 1,000. Well, I have 1, 2, 3 zeros, so a power of 10 and a power of 10 with 1, 2, 3 zeros total. 10 is the same as 2 times 5. 100 is 10 times 10. I'm still not done. 10 is 2 times 5. 10 is 2 times 5. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. So I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction. 125, that's my numerator. It's going to stay on the top. 5 times 5 times 5, 5, 5, 5. 1,000, 2, 2, 2, 5, 5, 5. I like to put them in order. It doesn't exactly matter, but I like, personally, to put them in order because then, as I'm going through, I can figure out what needs to cancel a little easier. So notice that you have 5, 5, and 5 on the top, and you have 5 times 5 times 5 on the bottom. That means you can cancel those out. Each pair that shows on both the numerator and on the denominator of the fraction can cancel into a 1. So 125 over 1,000 is 5 times 5 times 5 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. I'm going to cross out each pair of 5s, replace it with a 1. Cross, cross, 1, 1, cross, cross, 1, 1. So 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 2. We'll just keep it that way for now. Times 1 times 1 times 1 is times 1. So 1 is just 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I get 1/8. Too easy. Would you have looked at 125 over 1,000 and just thought to yourself, I bet the answer is going to be 8. Probably not. You would have to find your common factor, which is 125. Would you look at 1,000 and know that 1,000 times 8 is 125? I know I wouldn't. So this makes our life a little bit easier by doing it a different way. So now we're going to do an example using 375 divided by 1,000. So you're going to start out by finding your prime factors of 375. Well, it ends in a 5, so I'm going to do 5 times, I don't know, so I actually did 375 divided by 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Bring down the 5, 5. Okay, so 5 times 75. That one's prime. I'm done with that one. 75. Oh, that's 3/4. 75 cents is 3/4. So 3 times 25 cents. All right, so 3 is prime. I'm done there, but 25 is not prime yet. Oh, it's 5 times 5. So 5, 3, 5, and 5. And I'm going to put it in order 3, 5, 5, 5. And then 1,000. I already know what 1,000 is from this problem right here. I do not have to make that factor tree again. So I'm going to just break it down into, I know it's 8 times 5 times 5 times 5, because I know I have those 3 5s. And then I'll just break down that 8 into 2s. So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, so 3s. Nope, I only have a 3 on the top. It stays. 5. Yep, cross, cross. 5, cross, cross. 5, cross, cross. 2, no 2s on top. So I'm stuck with my 2s on the bottom still, and my 3 on the top. So 3 times all those 1s is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Times 1 times 1 times 1 stays as 8. Not too bad. I went through that kind of quick. We're at 8 minutes 32 seconds. So I'm going to help you work through the lesson practice. Please try some of these on your own first, but if you feel like you're struggling, then you can work on them with me as I go along. Okay, so lesson 67 practice. This right here, if you have the paper version, this would scan you to bring you to this video that you're watching right now. So maybe you already scanned it. Thank you for trying. Alright, so lesson 67 practice. This is just the questions as they show up in the book, and this is where I broke them down for you to solve them. So I'm going to start you off with 5 times blah blah blah, because 875 ends in 5. 5 is a prime number, so we're going to use that as our first division by prime or factor tree. So I need to do my factors, my prime factors of 875, and my prime factors of 1,000. Wait a minute, 1,000. We just did that one twice. So I already know that it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. Done. Okay, 875. Let's make that factor tree. If you're doing this on the computer, you don't have to show your factor tree. but I would like you to still do it in your notebook. I would still like you to try working it out or do your divisions in your notebook. I want you to still show your work, okay? So I know 5 is going to work. 875. I have a feeling 25 will also work, but I'm going to do 5 for now. 5 makes 3. Bring down my 7. 7 minus 35. 2. 5 and 5 minus 25 is 0. Okay, so 5 and 175. Yep. So this one is 5 times 25. Wait, is it? No, it's not. So if I skip count by 25s, I get 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, there we go, 125, 150, 175. So that was 7. 7 is a prime number. So I have 5, 5, 5, 1, 2, 3 times 7. All right, so now I just need to find my pairs. A 5 and a 5. A 5 and a 5, and a 5 and a 5. 7, I have no 7s down here. I have no 2s up there. 7 over 2 times 2 times 2 equals 7 over 8. My answer is 7/8. That is a reduced fraction despite starting at a number like 875. And I didn't have to go 875 divided by 5, 1,000 divided by 5. Figure out each of those numbers. Okay, divide by 5 again. Divide by 5 again. I didn't have to do that. I just made my prime factors. Boom, bam. So I'm going to put my answer right there. All right, 48 over 400. 48, I like 6 times 8 is 48. It's easy to remember. 6 is 2 times 3. 8 is 2 times 4. So I have 2 times 2. 3, 4. Now we got to do 400. Well, I'm going to do 4 times 100 because that one's easy enough. 4 is 2 times 2. 100 is 10 times 10. 10 is 2 times 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 2s. 5 times 5, and then I'm going to cross, cross, no 3s, no 4s, no more 2s, no more 2s, no more 5s. So 3 times 4 is 12, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 5 is 20, 20 times 5 is 100. I did something wrong. I did do something wrong. Who can spot it? Where did I mess up? Do you see it yet? I'm like staring right at it. I'm like, oh my goodness, Wriggle. Why did you big brain that? Okay, so right here on my 4, 4 is not a prime number. 4 is 2 times 2. So I'm going to change that 4 to a 2 times 2. My bad. 2 and 2, those cross out. And then I have another pair of 2s, those cross out. So now on my top, I have 3, and I have 25. Don't be like me. Do it right the first time. But I used a pencil. I often use erasable pens because I know that I'm not perfect. I've got to erase it sometimes. All right, 125 is 5 times 25, which is 5 times 5 times 5. 500, I'm going to go with 5 times 100. 10 times 10, 2, 5, 2, 5. So I have 2 2s. 1, 2, 3. Cross, 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 cross. Make sure every time you're crossing out, you cross out one from the top, one from the bottom. One top, one bottom. One numerator, one denominator. Those are all ones on top. 2 times 2 is 4. So let's try that. 125 times 4 should come out to 500. 125 plus 125 is 250. 250 plus 125 is 375. 375 plus 125 is 500. So I did it right. 36 times over 81. I'm going to let you guys do this one on your own, just to make sure you figured it out. So my suggestion would be to make a factor tree, but you can also do your division by primes, whichever way you want to do it. The reduced answer is going to be, let me work it out real quick. Should be 4 ninths. Is that right? Yes. Okay, it's going to be 4 ninths because these both have a common factor of 9. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 9 is 81. So I already know what my answer is, but I want you to give me those factors by primes, or prime factors. So make me a factor tree. Make yourself a factor tree, or make yourself those division by primes. Figure out what goes here and what goes there. And if you did it right, you'll get 4 ninths. And I'm going to make sure all my things are in the right spot. If you're filling this out on the computer, there's a little box around this. Make sure you click inside that box, and then you type in each of your numbers. Use an X for multiplying. Put your reduced answer at the bottom. Reduced answer on the bottom, reduced, reduced. And you're good to go. 17 minutes and you're already done with the lesson and the lesson practice. Not too bad if I say so myself.